Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons, your preferred Bryant dealer. Whatever it takes. Visit robertgibb.com.
All right, thanks to you and thanks to my sponsors at Robert Gibb and Sons. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Coming up in this update, we're going to look at roads, we're going to look at the radar, we're going to look at the forecast. As we see some snow focusing here on the valley, I think that's more or less the secondary band of snow stretching all the way up into Lake of the Woods. A heavier band heading up into Duluth and central Minnesota. Well, is this the end of it? Well, for some of us, it's wrapping up. Anywhere west of, say, Valley City and west of Grand Forks, it's all but over. More snow is in the forecast for many, and for some significant snow. Let's get to the very latest, but first, a quick message from my fine sponsors over at Robert Gibb and Sons. If you've been thinking of upgrading your heating and air conditioning system to a brand new Bryant system, call Robert Gibb and Sons today. Tell them Hutch sent you. They're going to throw in the water heater for free. No more cold showers. And you know what? If your water heater's older than 10 years old anyways, it's basically time for that upgrade for security as well as efficiency. Give them a call. Okay, now let's take a look at what's going on. Don't forget to drop your name in the comments section here with an update on what you're seeing. I have gotten a number of snowfall reports that I'll share with you. Pickerel Lake, 8 inches of snow as well out in Lakes Country, and there's more heading our way. Let's get to the radar, and we'll go over this in a little bit more detail here. Taking a look, we have Minneapolis, St. Paul, Rochester getting some heavy rain over the top of some slushy snow there. The Iron Range has already been hit with a foot of snow, and there's much more coming today. Hibbing out towards the Grand Rapids area seeing heavy snow. For our neighbors in Baxter and out towards the Nisswa area, upwards of 7 to 8 inches of snow earlier, and then a couple of bands have passed over that area since, with more moisture just to the south. Numerous reports in St. Cloud of heavy snow. And look at what's just outside of Fargo. And remember, we've been talking about Fargo being kind of on the doorstep. So we do have some bigger flakes and a lot more wind associated with this storm system out of the north. But those north winds are Lizzie says, guess what? No snow in Grand Forks. Unbelievable. It's just one of these systems. It's been a challenge, no question about it. But I don't want you to forget, this is we're in day 2 of a 3-day event. For some of us, day 4 or day 3 of a 4-day event. It's confusing. Out in western North Dakota and Montana, it began on Saturday. Sunday was the main event for some areas, particularly out west, where over 8 inches fell in parts of western North Dakota. Then for the Valley, Fargo, Grand Forks, we're like, what storm? You blew it, Hutch. Well, there's another full day for us here in the Valley, and for some of us in central Minnesota, this could last into Wednesday morning as the wind and the snow and the storm exits. I'll show you the very latest. Fergus Falls has wind. Mary, thank you so much. Snowing good here in Otter Tail. Just stopped snowing in Pelican Rapids, so a little bit of a break. That's good to know. Let me go ahead and slide the radar up. As we look at the Pelican Rapids area here in Otter Tail County, we do see kind of a nice little slot of quieter weather here as some energy splits off towards the northern point of Breezy Point, and other energy is enhancing and focusing on the Fargo area. Now, a couple of items to note. Little bands like this, they can just sit there, these secondary bands, for quite some time and continue to produce snow. So we see that from Crookston through the western parts of Polk County, much of Norman County, and northern Clay and Cass counties, where we're seeing some of that heavier band of snow right now. Now, Minneapolis down to Sioux Falls, we definitely have some conditions there that are tricky. Let me show the warnings right now. Let's review those real quickly. We have seen a lot of changes in this throughout the storm system. Winter storm warnings remain in effect for Fargo, for Moorhead, for you folks up here in the Becker County area, Otter Tail County, all the way into near Aberdeen. Aberdeen, no warning for you. Whoop, we're seeing blizzard warnings for Huron and the blinking counties down south. Now, in our area, we do still have warnings all the way from Wilmer and St. Cloud down into southwestern Minnesota through Bemidji and north into Lake of the Woods. Sorry, I cut off your counties there. Now you can see even the northwest angle, because I know I have viewers up there, right? Got to inform everybody that we can. We have viewers all the way in the Twin Cities as well, where some wet nonsense is falling. there is still some quieter conditions in the central part of this storm. So here's the low pressure system. It's making its way northward, and this is the trend. It's going to continue its trek northward, kind of stall a little bit here, some of the models are saying. Let's go ahead. This is a look at the radar. Let's look at roads. Here's what's going on in North Dakota. Most of the western part of the state seeing things improve, and we do have icy conditions on roads, so please keep that in mind. We've seen some crashes and incidents throughout the morning. Now, travel alert in these purple counties in the southeastern quadrant of North Dakota includes Fargo, Hillsboro, Cooperstown, Findlay, Hope, all the way down towards Lemoore, Ellendale area, as well as Foreman, Lisbon, Gwinner, and Wahpeton, Breckenridge. Here's a look at the roads down south. This is the Morton area, Highway 13. We have some snow on the roads and some reduced visibility. Here's Fargo with some bigger flakes flying right now. Let's see if we could take a look at what we have going on the I-94, I-29 interchange there at the tri-level. So slippery roads. And in Jamestown, we are seeing quieter road conditions. So I expect the road conditions to improve out to the west. How about near Oriska and Valley City? Similar. But what about what's north of Fargo? That's where that heavier band is set up. The only camera I have access to is in Buxton, and it's not showing a terrible amount of heavy snow or reduced visibility. And look, very little in the way of accumulation as you go through that area at all. So that's Buxton north of Hillsboro. Let's check Minnesota, because there are some serious problems there. Not much fun in Ulen, Minnesota. Thank you for the report, James. I can understand that. Here's a look also. Oh, let's see. Matthew says, where is the low right now? Is the low going to stay far to the south and east? The low is moving through Iowa now and pushing up to southern Minnesota, the way it looks, and the storm system is advancing slowly northward. And as it does, we'll still be on the east side of that. So some of our counties, particularly in Minnesota, will have a chance at seeing the snow continue. I'll show you the forecast map here in just a minute, Matthew. Thank you for the question. It's a very, very good one. The heavier snow usually tracks the low at the surface within about 50 to 100 miles or so of the center of low pressure. 3 inches, says Paul, in Vergas. Thank you so much. And that's since 8 a.m. in Vergas. And I'm assuming that is the entire total there in Vergas. Thank you for your report, Paul. Much appreciated. Look at all the pink area roads here in Minnesota. These are areas where the roads are reported to be completely covered. Highway 10, there is a crash near Staples out there. As you're going into town, it looks like on the west side of town, so probably not too far. From, well, let's see, that would be right at the county line, basically. So as you're going out towards the exit, towards, what is it, just past Aldrich. Here's Wadena. Let's take a look at that. The camera in Wadena shows big flakes of flying, not a lot of wind, and there is a look at the Highway 10 in Verndale as we got some very wet, sticky-looking snow off the road's edge. That's Highway 10. Now, we do have some reports of some pink road conditions, which would mean covered roads, and here you see Lake Park on Highway 10 with some coverage on the road. The wind out of the north means we're going to have that blowing of snow over the road surface and kind of a reinforcing layer of ice on the road as a result. Look at the huge flakes out in Dilworth right now, the size of Hutch Johnson's big toenail. Just not quite the same color. Never mind. Okay, Fergus Falls, what's going on out there? We have wind, snow, and reduced visibility. There's one lane completely covered with snow. And as we look down near the Ashby area, we have one lane completely covered with snow. So the plows are having some trouble keeping up with it, but the snow bands are moving north of this area. A little bit of a break for now. Here's southwestern Minnesota. Let's go to Ortonville and check out your area. Yeah, that road is completely covered with snow there. You get the picture. I did get some questions about the Brainerd area, and I want to take you into the Brainerd Lakes area where we did get a report of 8 inches of snow on the ground this morning. And here's a look at what's going on there right now. Very slushy, sloppy, wet roads. It's like kind of driving through concrete. It doesn't move out of your tires way very quick, and there's definitely some more snow on the way to this area. But there's a break right now. I got some questions about Bemidji. Why Bemidji? There's a lot of events going on region-wide. Can we have our event? Well, here's what we know. As we look up into the Bemidji area here, we are seeing that we have some heavier snow down south. So as we look on the road surface here, this is 71 near Itasca, and you can see complete road coverage with snow and some big fancy wet flakes the size of Hutch Johnson's face flying down there. And then as we go out towards the, let's go to the west of Bemidji out here near Solway. This is another look at Highway 2, big flakes, single lane, and it's slow and go with reduced visibility for sure. So tricky travel across the region. Now, the snow band does extend up through Beltrami. Let's take a look at what we have on Highway 9. Big flakes, not a lot of accumulation here, but some reduced visibility. So we do have some snow falling in parts of western Polk County. And as we look up near the, let's look up at the Grand Forks Highway 2 area. Look at this. Your report, thank you very much, of no snow in Grand Forks looks to be spot on. Even though the radar shows there's snowflakes up above the ground, nothing making its way down to the ground. Now, Red Lake Falls has shown snow throughout the morning, at times heavy. Here's the difference. A few miles makes. So the road there not covered completely with snow on Highway 59. That's the good news for that area. So we see some significant impacts in Minnesota, southwest to central part of the state. And then as we get up into the Duluth area, there's already reports of over a foot of snow there. St. Cloud area, a foot of snow in parts of that area has been reported, as a matter of fact. I'll show you some snow reports in a minute. In the Twin Cities, let's take a look just south, because there is a heavy batch of rain showing up down here near Rochester, and that's going north of town. So let's check in on what that is. Is it rain? Is it snow? Yeah, it must be rain. So a lot of the white roads have been melted down with some wet rain going on in southern Minnesota. How about South Dakota, where there's a blizzard warning in effect? Let's take a quick look for our viewers out there too. Here is a quick look at South Dakota, and we see that we do not have any closed roads. That's a good sign there. As we look in on the eastern third or one half of the state, we see a lot of pink, which would mean scattered ice and slippery road conditions, and covered. There are no areas of no travel advisories here as well. There is a heavier band showing up not far from Aberdeen. I'm going to look just to your north at a camera and take a look. So this is south of Ellendale. And yes, we don't have a lot of snow on the ground here, but it's starting to cover some of the grassy areas. And we can certainly see that the wind is kicking up some of that wet snow. So even though it's wet, the wind is picking up a little bit of it. Now we go just off to the east of Aberdeen, east of Groton, and we do have some snow that's showing up there as well. So there are difficult travel conditions in the eastern half of South Dakota, completely covered roads, and certainly the visibility is at least above 1 mile or 0, so that's good news. Okay, this picture is a bad one, but you could see I-29 at the Sisseton area here. The road has some coverage of snow on it, but the DOT crew's doing a good job with the break they're given from the snow shower activity right now. As you go southward towards Brookings, if you're traveling in that direction, just look at this. There is some nasty wind there, and just off to the west of this is the blizzard warning onset out in the Huron area, so keep that in mind. So wind and wintry conditions are making their way through the valley. That's a look at roads. That's a look at the radar. Now, Hutch, what's going on with the forecast? Let's do a quick update on that. Let's start with a look at Hutch's forecast graphics. Let's see if I have this still uploaded here. I do. Okay. It's been a busy morning, keeping folks updated like you and like me. I'm going to put a couple towns on here, and let's just take a look at this. This is a review. 4 inches in Nisswa so far, and that is since 7 a.m. this morning. Is that on top of what you had earlier, Mike, or is that the whole shebang? Nisswa. I did get a report up north of you from the lake area there of about 8 inches of snow. So it's interesting to see how variable it is in your area. This is, again, Nisswa. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll pass that along. I'll look for your update as well as whether that's the total event or if that's so far today. Here's snowfall expected for the rest of the event. 1/2 inch to 2 inches in Fargo. I think we've already got an additional inch with the big flakes flying out there. So we'll be an inch or 2 inches total accumulation today here, but the chances do increase as we go off to the east. Grand Forks, no much. Not much. Devil's Lake and Jamestown, it's all but over for you. On top of the 8 for a total of 12. Thank you very much. I thought I saw that, so I just wanted to clarify. Again, Mike, I do appreciate your word there. I'll pass that along to the National Weather Service office out there. Both Duluth and Minneapolis will be interested in that information. Okay, you can see your town here. As we go from Fergus Falls, I'm expecting 1 to 4 inches of additional accumulation through the night tonight, day today and night tonight, but it will ramp up to 4 or more inches out to the eastern part of the county. Heading in towards Wadena, that's where we're going to see 3 to 8 inches of additional snow. Now, some of that is moving north. Some of this has already fallen, but it does look like we'll still see more bands of some heavier snow. Detroit Lake, same thing goes for you. We're going to see lower amounts in the western Becker County area. You get to the eastern Becker County area, and it ramps up as we get into Wadena, right? So we're talking, maybe as many as 3 or 5 inches of snow on the eastern side of Becker County. Staples, Brainerd, you guys are in for it, 5 to 12 inches of additional. And Mike, I'll tell you, you've gotten the 4 or 5 already, so let's take that out of the 12 bite. That does help, Hutch, with the forecast for the rest of the day, and for that, I'm grateful for your reports and updates. Really, this is a team effort here. Bemidji, let me show you what's going on. I have not heard a snow report from Bemidji, so if you have one, let me know. Even if it's an estimate of what it looks like, it does help. The radar does show that we've had a band or two of heavier snow move through there. You think just down to the south near Nisswa and the Brainerd Lakes area, they are reporting some significant snow there, upwards of a foot of snow. That's right, we just heard that. And now we're looking at the Grand Rapids area, seeing that next band moved in. This is the band that dumped another 4 inches in the Nisswa area. It's kind of splitting around Bemidji, but I caution you. This is where meteorology gets tough. I am not going to lock my wrists to what the radar shows me, because not everything the radar shows me is reaching the ground in your backyard. And the radars are a long ways away from Bemidji. There's one in Duluth and there's one in Mayville. So Bemidji sits smack dab in the middle of the radar. Radar beams go up at an angle like Hutch's arm here. Snowflakes at the cloud level can be underneath the beam of the radar, so we don't see them as well. So you're just in one of those, I call them radar no man's lands, where in winter events we can sometimes see an overshooting of the top of the snow clouds, and we get an underestimation of where the heavy snow is falling. And sometimes you can see snow falling all day like we are in Grand Forks, right? But nothing is reaching the ground. Why is that? The air near the ground is dry, and the radar, because the beam's pointed like this, well, it's seeing the snowflakes in the clouds, but not necessarily what's hitting the ground, right? So radars are a tool for meteorology. 2 inches reported by a Misty here in downtown last few hours. Misty, downtown where, please? Thank you so much for your report. I do appreciate it. Is that my response from the Bemidji area, or is that a Fargo area? Thank you. I do want to know, so let me know. You're helping me out. I need you to tell me the towns, because I can't remember where all my viewers live, and that's my bad. I remember some of you, but not all of you. Thank you so much. Misty says, downtown Bemidji. Thank you. So 2 inches, and that's Bemidji, and that's so far for the event total. 9 inches in Park Rapids, so your neighbors just to the south. Park Rapids, PKD, 9 inches. Thank you very much. You guys are the bomb diggity. Bomb diggity. You're helping us out with the forecast here. Bemidji, 2 to 3 inches of the ground now. Janelle, thank you for your estimate. It matches spot on with what we're hearing from your neighbor Misty out there. Trey says, is the heavy band moving towards Fargo? No, but there's this thing setting up here, this secondary band right now. These I've seen sit in place for hours and hours and hours. That means we could get some over the forecast snow amounts in a couple of these counties just north of Fargo, okay? So we'll keep our eyes on this, but this band is starting to produce snow. We just looked at it on the camera in Beltrami County and points south into Norman County. So we're going to watch that. That Norman County amount of snow may increase from Hutch's forecast earlier of not so much, maybe a half inch to an inch or two. You could get a lot more if this thing parks over Dodge for too long, okay? Now, nothing yet in Roseau. Okay, that's helpful also. Roseau is also very far away from the radar. Roseau, we talked about this earlier, right here. You see this band leaning back this way, and then there's a main event snow coming up this way, and it will be pushing back towards Roseau County. But the higher amounts, I think, will be in the eastern reaches of Roseau County, War Road, and then into Lake of the Woods County. Badette, Red Lake, you have a chance at seeing some snowfall in your area as well. Will it be enough to get the snow machines out? Well, if you want to go snow machining, Hutch says, I hope so. Now, here's a look at a model. Let's go ahead and give you an hour by hour, around 5 inches south of Dent. Thank you. 5 inches. South of Dent. I'll just put that down. I don't have an exact location, but that'll be great enough. Thank you for that. Grigla area, question mark. I don't know. I have not gotten a report from the Grigla area, but there's not been a lot showing up on the radar here in Marshall County, Minnesota. But as we said before, it doesn't always It shows what's in the clouds, and it doesn't show what's falling down to the ground because the radar's over the top. So let me know if you have any measurements from Grigla. I'll pass that along. But we are seeing a heavy band moving into the Grand Rapids area towards Hibbing. Now your forecast model, there's not a lot changed here, but I do want to point out that we do have some things to talk about here. And this is the latest hourly update from this model that's been, you know what, these models have been stinky. But you know what, the low is now starting to get here. So are we done with snow? Watch this. I'm going to rock back and forth, and let's just pick one area and watch it. So that's the beauty of kind of running a model through here. Pick Fargo. Here, I'll put my dot. That's Fargo right there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is rock the radar. You see if Fargo gets any snow. Yep, a little bit. And it looks like it snows. And the beginning of the end for Fargo is about, well, 0Z to 2Z. That's this evening. So the snow we're getting now may last till this evening. This model says it's out of here, sayonara. But look at that low. You see it? So there's one low right now near Iowa, down here, right by my pencil. And now look at, there's another secondary low that'll be pushing up, and that system moves into Dodge, meaning Minneapolis and St. Paul, as we go into Tuesday morning. And this would be about 5 or 6 a.m. That's why I say, if you're in Lakes Country, if you're in Eastern Becker, Eastern Otter Tail, and in Central Minnesota, Park Rapids, you got more on the way. Nisswa, you too also. Between 2 and 3 inches, says Dale, and that's in the Anselm area. Thank you so much. I got to stop and write, or else I get... Sorry about that. I'm not trying to ignore you, but I do want to take all of this information, pass it along to the Weather Service. This is helpful in forecasting. So this is one model. Now let's pick another town. How about just west of Fargo? Do you see anything west of Fargo? Very little. There's a brief chance of some more snow in Cass County, but this model says, But guess what? We have the radar right now showing a little bit of snow in southeast North Dakota, and this model doesn't show anything. So is it helpful? Not as much. I'm going to look at another model, and this one does show more snow in southeast North Dakota and is what I call initializing a little better. Pick your area. Does the model show snow moving over you? Okay, here's Red Lake Falls, here's Thief River Falls, here's Marshall County in the Grigla area, here's Brainerd Bemidji. By far, all the models show the heaviest snow taking place in central Minnesota, and here comes the low as we go into the day tomorrow. This is in the morning, and we get another round in central and eastern Minnesota, but Fargo's done, minus the wind. Okay, do you have the NBM? Yes, I do. I've looked at that as well. I can't show you the visual aspect of the MBM. I'm not set up to do that, but it's a tool that we have to blend several models and kind of come up with an average. I can show you a blend of models, and this one doesn't show the snow quite the same, but what I will do is show this for you so you can look at a model average. This is a model average. Okay, and you can see here it has an additional inch in Fargo, but the heavier snow amounts in the Sisseton Hills and working up here. I think this is underdoing the snow in and north of Minneapolis. I think this is underdoing the snow potential between now and the end of the event in parts of central Minnesota. That's just my opinion. Gusty winds as high as 51 miles per hour, says Tiffany, and that's in the Comstock area. I can show you what my friends over at the North Dakota Agricultural Network are showing for peak wind gusts so far today. Here's a look at the current gusts. I'm going to just look at them. We have wind gusts right now that are clocking in just over 35 miles per hour across their network in the James River Valley and the Cheyenne River Valley and the Red River Valley. The peak gusts for today, I'm just going to verbalize these from the North Dakota Agricultural Network, showing 40 miles per hour. So we'll take a look at more data as it becomes available, but your reports are fantastic. Gull Lake, 10 strike, 3 to 4 inches. I'm writing that down. I'm going to write down 10 strike area because there's many other Gull Lakes in Minnesota. Isn't that true? Isn't there a couple Gull Lakes down in the Brainerd area, if I remember right, as being a kid? I think I went fishing there. Lake Brunson, hi, Tracy. Good to have you on board. Making sure we've got all the snow reports in and passed along to you. This is your modeled forecast. The snow is not done. This batch of snow that we see right now on the radar that is working its way through the region. Let me put up the national radar view. Here we go. This band right here is setting up shop in eastern North Dakota, southeast North Dakota, northeast South Dakota, moving very close to Fargo, but really showing some heavier snow in northern Clay County, all the way up into the Norman County area. Twin Valley. Are you guys in Twin Valley and Ada seeing heavier snow? What about Fertile Beltrami? Are you seeing heavier snow? Snowing all day in Monaga and Sabika. All right, hard to measure because it's blowing. That's the nature of this type of system. The best way to do that is when you have an opportunity to do so. Get away from the big tall drifts and try to get an average measurement in your yard. Sometimes you have to take 5 or 10. Sometimes I like to go backyard to front yard because there's different amounts of blocking things like houses and trees. Just try to get in a good average because you're going to have waves that are high and waves that are low. But if we're going to try to estimate the sea level height, we got to take the highs and the lows and come up with some kind of a middle ground. And you can do that in your yard by measuring, say, 6 spots and dividing your total sum of snow that you measured by 6. All right, that's the report for now. That's a look at the forecast for now. We do have more snow showing up right now, and it's showing up from Brookings all the way through Hibbing, the Grand Rapids area. We have that secondary band that's kind of set up shop here in our neck of the woods. But the main event is really going to be in central parts of Minnesota as we go into the day tomorrow again. So we got round 1 coming up tonight. We got round 2 coming up from the south. And for tonight, if you haven't seen yet, there is a risk of severe thunderstorms and a tornado outbreak with the potential for strong tornadoes in the deep south. I have a video on that on my page. That's on my YouTube page. I'm looking up that right now. But essentially on the YouTube page, I'll put a link to it in the comments here momentarily. You can check out that video and let me know what you think about that. So our storm is causing impactful weather, including winter storm warnings in the mountains of southern Colorado, severe weather in the plains, very heavy rain in the central plains, and for us, we got some wild and craziness going on right here. So I believe this is it. Oh, let me go ahead and go back. I'm just going to try to link to the correct video. Yeah, this is it. Okay. I'll put this link on. I'll share it with you. I sure appreciate you taking a moment and checking it out. Let me know what you think. I know it's more of a national view, but sometimes it's kind of interesting to see how our weather here is impacting other parts of the country. Thank you so very, very much. I'm also going to put a link here if you happen to have any interest at all in what my sponsors have to offer over at Robert Gibb & Sons. They definitely will take care of your mechanical needs whatsoever because they are on top of it. Here's a list to their promotion or link to their promotion with regards to that water heater deal that I just told you about. A free water heater when you upgrade to a new Bryant system. That's an air conditioning and heating system. They're going to throw in that water heater. So make sure you visit with my friends there. Thank you so very much. I'm checking. Oh, I see another report. Wheaton, 6 or 7 inches. Thank you very much. So 6 to 7 inches, that's in Wheaton as we head over into that area of Minnesota. Do I think you're done there? There is a chance for some more snow. You'll be right on the edge of that main event that heads right up into central Minnesota as we go through tonight and tomorrow. So I think you'll get some more there as well. Cullum, so far 3.5 Thursday, 2.5 Sunday. Winds blowing strong right now. So 3.5 Thursday, 5.5, that would be 3, 4, 5, 6 inches there for Cullum. Thank you very much. I'll pass that along to the National Weather Service. I know that they'll appreciate those reports. Thanks so very much. I'm going to go grab some soup, stay warm. I've got some snow shoveling to do. And yeah, that's right, shoveling. It's blowing and drifting now here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. And that wind is going to be with us all the way into Wednesday morning for many. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your lunch. Don't work too hard. Don't shovel too hard. Don't drive in this nonsense if you don't have to. We'll keep you updated.